Hi everyone, it's Kino here. Today we're going to take a look at a posture called Akarna Dhanurasana. This is actually a request from my Instagram. If you don't follow me there, I definitely recommend you subscribe to my YouTube channel and check me out on Instagram. So Akarna Dhanurasana is a deep hip opening posture. It's one of the bow postures, which Dhanurasana means bow, that is not a back bend, but is instead meant to represent the archer or the position of the archer when they're casting a bow. So the way to start off in Akarna Dhanurasana is from Paschimottanasana or from Dandasana, which is a seated forward fold, okay? So first, this is Dandasana position. You want to make sure you have this nice and stable. You'll need the deep forward fold of Paschimottanasana, so let's try that out. Hollow out the interior space of the pelvis, and then exhale, fold forward, catch onto your big toes. You definitely want to do this before you try Akarna Dhanurasana. Inhale, suck in the belly, and then exhale, fold your torso over your thighs. You can just do that nice, a little bit easy, just to open up the hamstrings, get the deep hip flexion. Then inhale, straighten your arms, and this is the place we're going to start off with Akarna Dhanurasana. Okay, so now the movement is going to start off on the right side, so be very conscious of what's happening around the right hip joint. Keep the belly sucked in, and then start to bend your right elbow as you slowly lift your right foot off of the ground, and then exhale as you bend the right knee back, and make sure it doesn't point to the side, but it's moving back in space. Now Akarna Dhanurasana is the bow with the foot touching the ear. So next, lift your foot up to your ear, keep your spine as straight as possible, and gaze at your left toes. This is the first portion of the posture, and it feels a little bit like an accentuated version of Marichasana A. Avoid opening the pelvis too much and keep it turned forward. The abs are firm, the knee points back. Now, second portion of Akarna Dhanurasana, belly sucks in, roll the hip joint forward, and pull again your foot near your ear, and this time gaze up. You might sometimes see this posture with the foot out to the side, but that's not really correct. You want that straight up. I'll hold it for a few breaths. Traditionally, it's 5. Then inhale, take your foot back to your ear, and then exhale, place it down. So what you're feeling in Akarna Dhanurasana is your quadratus lumborum, which is right on the backside, really lengthening and dropping down. That's going to give your hip the space to really move in. Let's try the other side. Starting off, forward. Now I'll be focusing on the left hip joint. First thing we do, suck in the belly and prepare the pelvic floor. Then draw the head of the left femur into its socket, let it shift directionally back, bend your left elbow, then exhale as you pull that left knee back in space, and aim it as directionally straight back as possible. Spine is as straight as you can. Foot next to your ear, belly is sucked in, gaze at your forward right fingers. After 5 breaths, roll the hip forward of your torso, and then pull the head of the left femur into its socket, and gently gaze upwards, bringing your foot as close to your ear as you can. As you can see, this is a really good prep for standing splits, because it'll help bring your torso close to your thigh. After 5 breaths, inhale, move through the deep hip flexion on the left side, and then finding the space, make sure again that the knee doesn't go to the side, but you keep it as far back as possible, and then exhale, bring your foot down. Pause for a moment and equalize, squeezing your thighs together, and then exhale down. So when you're moving into Akarna Dhanurasana, you're going to feel the stretch coming from your lower back. This is an important movement that will help get your legs behind your head and help deepen the hip flexion that's necessary to go into more advanced postures. Remember that this is from the Ashtanga Yoga 4th series, so be careful and cautious. Don't jump into this. This video is a response to a viewer request, so I hope your hip joints are open when you're going through this. If you feel any pressure on the outside of your knee when you're trying to move into the position, it's probably too advanced. Really localize the posture deep inside of your hip joint and get that movement with the head of the femur dropping into the socket. So this is Akarna Dhanurasana. I hope you're inspired to practice.